So every day I have people reach out to me and they will have suggestions on things that I could talk about in my content. Some people say that I'm focused too much on Donald Trump being a threat to American democracy, and they say that I should be focused on other things. Some people says that I should be talking more about Joe Biden's accomplishments, and I do agree with that. I think we definitely need to do that going into the election and let people know what President Biden has accomplished. I do plan on doing more material like that. Then I have folks that says to me that I should be pointing out more of Biden's mistakes and how he could do things better. And while I will agree with you on that too, I just want you to know how I view this. I view my country standing in the middle of a train track and they're blasting 80s hair metal in their headphones like this. And there's a train headed straight for them. And I'm trying to get their attention. I'm going, hey, look, oh, wait, there's a train headed for you. Move, get out of the way. Once I get you off the track and get you back in the real world and save your life, then we can talk about how shitty your playlist is. But right now, I think the main focus needs to be on the train that is headed straight for us. Now, this next clip and segment I'm going to do here is going to be long, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you up front that you need to see it. And you need to be reminded of it every day going into this election, because democracy truly is on the line, folks. And what we have here is one of the strangest clips that I have ever seen, because now the House has made a new rule. And the new rule is you can't even mention that Donald Trump is on trial. You can't even bring it up or your words will be stricken. Take a look at this clip and let Ben Meiselas walk us through this one. Folks, this is as weird and authoritarian as it gets. Take a look.
Let me just show you what went down. Here's how it begins with Democratic Congress member Jim McGovern talking about the MAGA Republican Congress members. Then you'll see who's serving as the kind of acting ceremonial chair in the House of Representatives today, MAGA Republican Congress member Jerry Carl. Watch what goes down at first. I'm going to walk us through each step of what went down. Play this clip.
But instead, my friends over on the other side of the aisle have pandered to their most extreme members over and over and over again. They let the extremists kick out their own speaker. They let the extremists dictate the agenda on the House floor. They let the extremists take down 7 rule votes since January 2023, a stunning indictment of their ability to get anything done. And speaking of indictments, Republicans are skipping their real jobs to take day trips up to New York to try to undermine Donald Trump's criminal trial. No time to work with Democrats, but plenty of time to put on weird matching cult uniforms and stand behind President Trump with their bright red ties and like pathetic props. Maybe they want to distract from the fact that their candidate for president has been indicted more times than he's been elected. Maybe they don't want to talk about the fact that the leader of their party is on trial for covering up hush money payments to a porn star for political gain, not to mention 3 other criminal felony prosecutions he's facing. Now, I understand why my Republican friends want to distract from Donald Trump. They don't want to talk about how Trump had the worst jobs record since the Great Depression, how he sold out our allies and empowered our adversaries. So they bring silly things like this to the floor to deflect blame and distract from the fact that they have no real vision, just division, and no real plans to make life better for the American people. And with that, I reserve my time.
Now, my first question is, where was the lies, where was the misinformation in what he just said? I mean, that's what's going on. Whether you agree with it or not is irrelevant. He just stated the obvious. He stated the facts. And yet, they stand up and tell him, you can't do that. Folks, this just keeps getting stranger as we go, but we got to watch it. Take a look.
The chair would like to remind members to refrain from engaging in personalities towards presumed nominees for the office of the president. The gentleman from Massachusetts reserves. The gentlewoman from Indiana is recognized.
Thank you, Mr.
So then after that happens, Democratic Congress member Jim McGovern says, look, I was just admonished for stating a fact. It's the truth. Donald Trump is on a criminal trial. Is it now unparliamentary for us to simply state that Donald Trump's on a criminal trial? Is that where this is going? Here, play this clip.
One from Massachusetts is recognized.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, a few moments ago, I was admonished for stating the simple fact that the former president was indicted by a grand jury and is on trial in a court of law. That's not my opinion. It's just the truth. So I have a parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman will state his inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, has the chair determined it's unparliamentary to state a fact?
The chair is not in a position to determine the veracity of remarks made on the floor.
Well,
that members must avoid personalities.
yeah, well, that's unbelievable. Last week during debate, a Republican member of this House said, and I quote, "Watch the former president of the United States being hauled into court day after day with a sham trial," end quote. He wasn't admonished. I just referenced the same trial, and I was.
Folks, I'm trying really hard to make this one make sense, but what they're essentially saying here is you can't talk about Donald Trump at all, but we can. We can stand up here and we can call it a sham trial all day. We can question the integrity of the courts. We can question the integrity of the judges. Oh, and by the way, we can question the integrity of our elections. We can call them rigged, even though it's been proved time and time again that they weren't. We can continue to repeat our lies and misinformation, but you guys aren't allowed to tell the truth. That is as crazy as it gets, folks. It truly is. But it gets crazier as we go, because watch what happens during this next exchange.
We have a presumptive nominee for president facing 88 felony counts, and we're being prevented from even acknowledging it. These are not alternative facts. These are real facts. A candidate for president of the United States is on trial for sending a hush money payment to a porn star to avoid a sex scandal during his 2016 campaign, and then fraudulently disguising those payments in violation of the law. He's also charged with conspiring to overturn the election. He's also charged with stealing classified information, and a jury has already found him liable for rape in a civil court. And yet, in this Republican-controlled House, it's okay to talk about the trial, but you have to call it a sham.
We take down his words.
It's okay to say the jury is rigged.
Mr. Speaker, I demand that his words be taken down.
It's okay to say the court is corrupt.
The gentleman will suspend.
But not Trump is corrupting the rule of law.
So then what happens is the clerk is asked by the MAGA Republican to read the words that Republicans want to be stricken. Here's what the clerk does. Play this clip.
The gentleman from Massachusetts accused the presumed nominee of the office of president of engaging in illegal activities. The presumed nominee for the office of president are according to the same treatments under the rules of the decorum in debate as a sitting president. This practice is memorialized in Section 370 of the House Rules and Manual. This is warranted even though a candidate may not have officially obtained the party's nomination, once there is no reasonable dispute that the candidate will receive the nomination. The chair reaches that the conclusion in part based on the statement of the Speaker Wright of September 29, 1988. On that day, the Speaker made it clear that actual party nominees is not a prerequisite for treatments under the presided as though they are nominees. I messed that one up, I'm sorry. The chair has abolished members on the basis of numerous occasions and as recently as early today. This standard entails the application of the restrictions against the personalities to refer to a candidate under the rules of decorum in debate. Therefore, although remarks in debate may include criticism of such candidate's official position as a candidate, it is a breach of order to refer to candidate in terms personally offensive, whether by actually accusing or by merely insulting. Also, as such, in Section 370 of the manual, the accusation that the president has committed a crime or even that the president has done something illegal is not in order. The chair relies on the precincts of March 19, 1988, September 10th, 1998, and finds that the remarks consistently a personal attack. Without objections, the offensive words are stricken from the record.
So they go on to strike Jim McGovern's words, but really he could have saved us all a lot of time right there if he'd have just cut through the bullshit and got right down to the point, which is we can say whatever we want to about anything, and you guys can't utter one word about Donald Trump, because if you do, we're going to find it offensive. Because let's face it, what could our side of the aisle possibly say about Donald Trump that MAGA Republicans wouldn't find offensive? They're going to be offended by every single thing that we say. That's where we're at. And we're at a place in this country where a man stands up and states the truth, states the obvious, and his words get stricken. And meanwhile, they will stand up there and they will spread every lie and every conspiracy theory and every piece of misinformation that they possibly can. And when we try to hold them accountable for that, they will say that we're trying to silence them and we're coming after their First Amendment right. Well, you do not have the right to yell fire in a crowded room. I learned that in grade school, and it don't take a rocket scientist to figure out the concept. You are free to say what you want in this country, but there are consequences for your speech. But this is a guy stating the truth. It's not even about criticizing Donald Trump. It's not even about disagreeing with Donald Trump. They're saying, don't mention it. Don't bring it up. Why? Because they don't want people to be reminded. He's the presumed nominee of their party. More than likely, we're about a 98, 99% chance he's going to be it, unless something crazy comes out of left field. Donald Trump is our nominee for the Republican Party. And if we're not allowed to point these things out about him, we're not just allowed to say that that's what it is. Think about it. We can't point it out to them, but they're okay with him being their front runner. That tells you they realize Donald Trump is wrong. That tells you they realize the corner they've boxed themselves into. They just don't want people pointing it out. Well, guess what? You guys actually said back before Donald Trump ever became president to start with that if you let him into your party, he would destroy it. And now he has. And now they're sitting back trying to figure out a way to fix it. They're trying to figure out a way to dig themselves out of this hole. And the way that they dig themselves out of this hole is to tell us that we can't even bring it up. We can't even mention it. Think about that. Think about what an authoritarian nightmare this truly is. So for those that says, Brando, you're talking too much about our democracy. You're talking too much about Donald Trump being a threat to democracy. I would say back to you, you're not paying close attention enough. Because if you truly were and truly dug in and looked at what Donald Trump is doing and what he's getting away with on a daily basis, what his side is accepting from him on a daily basis, you would be terrified. That's not me trying to spread hyperbole. That's not me just trying to bash the other side. That's not me trying to say that, our guy is better than their guy. It's just stating the facts, folks.